ve Nihat. Kaptırıyor topu. Ali Tanrıoğlu çok süratli. Ali orta yapacak. Sert orta. Sert orta.
Welcome everyone back to beautiful Bursa for yet another season finale. This time we take on BEŞİKTAŞ here at home. But before we get into that and the season roundup, we do of course have a couple of games to catch up on. So without further ado, let's head on into Football Manager 21 and crack on with today's episode. Okay, so after a disappointing ball draw in the previous episode, we did in fact welcome Ankara Gücü to beautiful Bursa. And we got a simple 1-0 victory in the end. As you saw, lovely goal from Milinkovic. And well, we was very dominant in this game. 15 shots to their 4, 6 on target to their 2, 1.1 XG to 0.57. 17 corners to their 4, 12 fouls to 15, 2 yellow cards. 93% passing is beautiful to see to their 80 and 72% possession to 28. We probably should have done a little better. Yes, we dominated possession. Yes, we had more passing percentage, we have more shots, but that shot on target of 6 compared to the 15, yeah, we probably should have won this one 3-4-0, but I'll take a 1-0 victory. A victory is a victory in the end. It's just a little disappointing that it was only 1-0 against a team so far down in the league. Now, Zubzuk got a 7.1 in goal. We have 0.1 for Mailman, 7.3 for Kuble. Oblak got 6.6. Lassen, he got no rating because I believe he got an injury. Yes, as you can see, 13 minutes in, he managed to get an injury. Now, you'll see that is a little bit of a theme in today's episode. Then in central midfield, Şirok has a 7.4, Emrehan has a 7.6. On the left-hand side, Milinkovic with that goal got a 7.8, 7.2 for Mehmet. Gerkan with a 6.9, and a little bit disappointing, Mad up front, 6.6. But as we know, Mad is the player we are looking to improve on next year. Yildirim came on and got a 7.2, not bad for him. So he came in and slotted in Lassen's spot. Godinho came on and got a 6.8. That is because, as you can see, Oblak got a yellow card. So I took Oblak off with his yellow card and his disappointing 6.6. We then had Volkan. He came on, he got a 7.1. I think with this triangle, I shifted everyone around. So Volkan came on for Şirok, but Volkan swapped to Emrehan's spot. Yeah, Volkan went into Emrehan's spot, Mehmet dropped to Şirok's spot, and Sinan came on alongside him to go up into this central attacking mid-roll. And that was our substitutes and that first game. But how did we get on in that second? Okay, so in the second tie, we headed away to Konyaspor, and this was a surprisingly difficult game. Very 50-50, as you saw. Musa got a beautiful bullet of a shot in the bottom right-hand side to open the score for them. Mehmet, though, here on the 64th minute, delivered across, and Kun, of all people, went and slotted it in the bottom corner. Beautiful to see him finally get some goals on the board. I believe that was his third one of the season. And yeah, it finished 1-1. Hard fought draw, I would say, from this one. We was away from home. Yes, they are much further down the table, but they are a solid side. So we had 6 shots to their 8, beat us on shots, but we had 5 on target to their 4. That meant a 0.55 XG for us to their 0.92. 6 corners to 5, 13 fouls to their 11, 5 yellow cards to their 2. Yes, 5. That's Emrehan Aydıgan, Mailman, Musa Yildirim, Şirok and Kuble all getting yellow cards. We then have passes complete. We had 89%, they had 89%. Nice to see someone actually keeping up with the passing completion against us. And it was 50-50 split on possession too. Now, as you can see, they had a few players who had some rough games in these. But we don't care about the spine of their team not being so good. Weirdly, that made a question mark. Anyways. Our team is what we want to focus on, and Zubzuk got 6.9. That wasn't the greatest of gains, but not too bad. Mailman, he didn't do too good. 6.5, we got him off that pitch pretty soon into the second half, I believe. Kuble got 6.9, Oblak with a 7, 6.8 for Musa Yildirim. We then have Şirok with a 6.7. Emrehan got an awful 6.5. That is one for him to forget, I think. It's very rare we see him being disappointing, but Emrehan had a poor game alongside mailman, and joining them was both of our wingers, Gerkan and Milinkovic, with 6.6s each. That's not good to see. Mehmet got a 7.1 though, and Mad, he did okay. He got a 6.9. Now, our bench, we had Omar coming on for the mailman. He got a 7.2. That was nice to see from him. We then have Volkan. He came on, got a 6.6. Very disappointing from his part. We then have Erin Goulier, 6.7. Nice to see him make an improvement on that left-hand side for Milinkovic. And Kun, of course, came on for Gerkan and got a 7.5 on that right-hand side. So, all in all, it was a reasonable game, but it is, of course, time to get on with today's game against Beşiktaş. So, without further ado, I'm going to hop into the team meeting screen, or tactical meeting screen, as the game likes to call it. And I'll see you there in just a second. Right, everyone, so it's tactical meeting time for today's game. As you can see, we've only sold 34,045 tickets out of our capacity of 42,985. Little disappointing considering it's the last game of the season. And we're playing Beşiktaş. Beşiktaş, yes, they're underperforming a little bit, but they're still 6th in the league. We are 3rd. But as you'll see in just a second, 3rd really doesn't matter. We are guaranteed it. We have a 5-point gap on 2nd, 5-point gap on 4th, I believe. So, yeah, it's really a nothing game, but it's the end of the season. We're playing a big side. We're at home. We want to have a good performance to finish off the season. As you can see, though, our assistant wants us to go from positive to a balanced approach. I think that's reasonable, considering we're not playing a team as low down as Konyaspor, although, as you know, they managed to pull off a draw and give us a very good game. We then have our opposition instructions. As per usual, I'm going to just add them, not going to read through them. Feel free to pause or slow down if you wish to read through them specifically, of course. Now, as you can see, we have a problem with our backline. So, the mailman is suspended. Kuble is suspended. Oblo, he's still there. We then have Lassen, he's got a bit of a knock. So, we only have Oblo from our usual back four. So, who is coming in? Well, of course, you've seen Musin coming in on this side. Musin, he's a solid performer. He knows how to perform at this level. Omar, he comes in on the left-hand side again. He's a little bit past it. As you can see, he's actually dropped, if it will load sometime this year, he's dropped to 2.5 star. He's not even a 3-star player in this team anymore. There we go, 2.5 star. I apologise, it's because I've been watching a stream, so I've had to mute my stream, and yeah, my graphics card's not liking the overabundance of stuff trying to use it. We then have Gordinho. Now he can slot in as our ball-playing defender. So that's our back line. We're going with Omar, Gordinho, Oblor and Musin in front of Zubzuk. In front of them, Shirok and Emrehan retain their positions. We then have Milinkovic on left, Gerkan on the right, and Mehmet, of course, behind Mad. That does mean on the bench, we have Atberk. We are then going to shift in Schmelzer. Now, Schmelzer is one of a couple of players planning to retire. As you can see, Manfredini here, he is planned to retire at the end of the season. As, like I said, Schmelzer, he's also looking to retire. A couple of old guys. I could have asked them to stay around a little longer, but considering he's a 2-star rated player, he's on $6.5 a week. He's our 3rd choice. Like, no, just go. Enjoy your retirement. We can get our wage bill down. You can stick up your feet and have a nice time. Now, Recap again. He's been nagging me to try and sell him. I'm letting his contract run out, so I don't really see the issue with Recap. Recap is on $3 a week, of course, 2-star rated now. Just basically not up to our level anymore. He's 33 years of age. He's over the hill and far away when it comes to playing. So, we've brought on Schmelzer. He's joined by Ahmet on the bench. We then have Yaziki, I guess. He's not the greatest of players, but he's a nice little depth player at 2 stars. And yeah, he can cover all of the defensive positions. We then have Murat, I guess. We don't have a 3rd choice for this left-hand side. That's the main issue. I guess we just go with out another defender. We'll do that. We'll bring on Recap, who can then just slot in there. So Recap, been complaining about his lack of game time. He can slot in. We do, of course, need to try and get rid of Diarra. As you can see, he's unregistered. He's only 2-star now. He's just not very good. He was a free transfer, and we'll get into it probably a little bit more when we do our season review, but as you can see, 2-star is just over the hill and far away and costing us 3.6 grand per week. So we want to get him off the wage bill. We're going to have plenty of wage bill going into this upcoming transfer market, and hopefully we have a bit of cash to spend as well. But that's not to us, that's up to the board. So, team selection, Yildirim, Gordinho and Omar. 3 of our back 4 are struggling for match sharpness. Yes, that's because they are the backup players, so I'm not surprised. Now, that's nice to see. Musin Yildirim is looking forward to his battle with Adem Lajagic. And we have 5 concerns. How much do you bet? Kun is one of them. Oh look, Kun, of course. He has a complaint today, as per usual. Recap has a complaint, and Friday has one too. Passing in space doesn't... Friday, you can't nod in agreement and then tell me you've got a concern. It's very contradictory. Anyways, let's head on into today's match against Beşiktaş. Right, so Beşiktaş, who do you have for us to try and deal with? Honestly, not a whole lot of names are jumping out at me. They have a couple who are okay, but I don't see anyone who I'm particularly scared of. It's weird. I should be scared of certain names in the Beşiktaş lineup, but I'm not. So, the media have given you a lot of credit lately. Go out there and put on a wave. Exactly. Go show the media exactly why we have managed to magically get up into third this year. Mr. Gonzalez of goal, who seems to be coming to talk to us quite often in recent times. Kubilay is suspended. How big of an absence will he be here today? Well, considering we're missing 3 of our back 4, I think he would be rather missed. It's not an ideal, but we're adapting and we believe we can go out there and win. Exactly. Do you agree with Fatih Terim's decision to put... I have no idea. It's not for me to say. Anything could have gone on behind the scenes, exactly. I have no idea what's going on at that guy's club, so why would you ask me? Ask him. You know, he's the one who did it, so go ask him why he did it and what's going on. Bilal, though, will play it back to Cabasel. Cabasel playing it over to Alpaslan. Alpaslan gets it back to Cabasel. Nice ball over the top. Shirok heads it down for Milinkovic, though. Lovely interception by Shirok. Emrehan getting the ball going over to the right-hand side with Gerkan. He's got plenty of space to whip it across if he wants to. He could also pull it back for Emrehan. He does. Emrehan whips it in. Oh, straight past the goalkeeper. Milinkovic will head it into what was practically an empty net. And we have a goal less than 2 minutes into today's game. That is his 8th goal. And what a lovely one to get. As you can see, lovely play by Gerkan. Gets it to Emrehan. Lovely ball. Goalkeeper should have caught that one. Completely missed it. And Milinkovic punishes him by nodding it past the one defender near the line. So, like I said, we've got a gap to 2nd place, so we can't go any higher, and we've got a gap to 4th place, so we can't drop any lower. This is very much a fun game for our players to finish the season on a high note. So, Mali will play it back to Nesip, but Nesip now gets it to Balkovec. Balkovec gets to Rakip. Rakip in the centre circle, nice ball through, unfortunately doesn't get it to anyone, and Zubzuk will collect. So, Zubzuk throwing out to Obilor. Obilor gets it up to Shirok. Shirok, can he get anything going from here? He's, of course, the rock in our midfield. Emrehan tries the ball over to Milinkovic, this time intercepted by Nanu. Bilal will get a ball through to Seydat, one-on-one with Zubzuk. Lovely save there by Zubzuk. And they will have a corner. As you can see, my internet provider is well established and is getting advertised here in Turkey today. So, if you're wondering who the heck KCOM is, yeah, that's my internet provider. Football Manager, though. Getting a sponsor in there also. Kingston Communications popping up yet again. Does feel rather weird watching adverts for KCOM popping up in our little Turkish game, but Rakip will get a ball over to Bilal. Will Bilal whipping across, or will Omar get tackling? No, we will just see a very interesting situation where Bilal passes it to Shirok, who kicks it onto our own post. Not quite sure what that was, but we escaped it nevertheless. Jason Dodd. It would appear they are looking for overlaps into central areas. Well, Jason, it would also look like they are not managing to get anything going. So, Gordinho plays it short perhaps to Omar. Yes, it goes to Omar. Back to Godinho. Over to Schrock. No. Plays it up to Mad. Mad gets it to Mehmet. Mehmet, lovely through ball to Milinkovic. Can he get a shot off? No, he plays it across to Gerkan. Lovely slot. Lovely shot even. An even more beautiful save. But the corner can't have amounted to much because we're not going to see it. And as you can see, the stats are actually pretty even. Pretty even Stevens going into the second half, but I would say we have been the more dominant side. We've had the better chances. We've done more with the ball. And, well, we've had 5 shots to their 4. 3 on target to their 2. 1.14 XG, reflecting our better opportunities to their 0.35. 1 corner to their 2. 9 fouls to 3. 0 yellow cards, 2 yellow cards. 84% passing to their 87. 48% possession to 52. And, of course, the only goal is Milinkovic's second minute goal, which technically won. It was like a minute and a half, less than a minute and a half, so rounding should go down to 1, but we'll forget about that. Second minute goal is the only one to split the difference. And if you heard an engine revving outside, I apologise. I am actually recording this nearly 10 to 9, but yet there's some idiot out there. So, yeah, these things happen. I can't really control who's going up and down the street now, can I? Anyways, we are in the dressing room, and, well, I think that's not a bad shout. It's not the best, but Jason, we will take your approach. We will tell the lads what you want them to hear. And, well, we have a kickoff highlight. These are usually better for the team that isn't taking the kickoff. From what I've seen, it's usually the kickoff team will attack, then the other team will win it back and force an effort the other way. Although, it looks like I'm completely wrong in this situation, and Zubzuk has to make a beautiful save. Musin clearing it out for a throw-in. I don't remember seeing a kickoff highlight actually end in a goal, I'll be honest. They always seem to end in closer opportunities, but never seem to really end up in goals. Anyway, Obilor gets the ball, plays it up to Gerkan. He's got Musin making a run down this right-hand side, plays it up to him. Will he pull it back for Gerkan? Gerkan, no. Cross to Mad. Gerkan, and it's back to Musin. Lovely ball on this right-hand side. Up to Gerkan once more. Could have pulled it back to Musin, but instead he goes it himself, whips one in, and Milinkovic with his brace. 9th goal of the season. Milinkovic is getting into goal scoring form right towards the end of the season. I think he's scared we're going to buy in another winger. And he should be scared because after we've got another striker, I think getting a good Turkish winger or even another international winger would be perfect for that left-hand side. But that's for down the line. Right now, we have our game against Beşiktaş, and it's going rather well. Musin, though, completely misses his tackle here on the right-hand side, and he might have given them an opportunity to pull one back. Yep, Bilal, free header in the middle of the box, gets his 9th goal, and it wasn't the best of headers. Zubzuk could have perhaps got a hand to it, but after that missed tackle, he had plenty of time. Just gets up there, nods it past Zubzuk, and, well, can't be too surprised that they managed to score that one. Now, let's head into the tactical screen. We want to get some substitutes on before things fall apart too much. 6.5 for Godinho. Okay, you're struggling to play. Got ya. Ahmet will come on, get a little bit of game time against a good side. Now, we have a tired Shirok. So, we'll drop Mehmet back into his old position and we'll give Sinan a run out in today's game. We then have Mad. He's a little bit tired up front, so we'll swap out Mad for some Anal. And for now, that will do. We'll hold on to our 4th and 5th substitutes respectively. Of course, we like to hold on to the 5th one in case we get an injury or someone gets sent off. But the 4th one, we're going to hold on to that till some players get a little more tired or someone's just underperforming that bit too much. And we are in the 70th minute. I think that's a good time to look. And, well, good job we did, look. He's taking a bit of a knock. So, Schmelzer will come in on that side. Now, Omar's a little tired and got 6.6 over on the left. Says we've got 2 substitutes remaining. I think I've been saving... Correct me if I'm wrong. But I might have been saving one for injuries when I don't need to. I'm pretty sure I don't need to, hence the 2 remaining, because I have 4, but I think one of them's an injury sub. But I do like to keep it for suspensions regardless. So, injury stuff aside, holding on to that 5th one is actually quite useful, even if we don't ever get the injury, because we can use it for a suspension. And, well, sending off. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm rambling. Let's just get back into the game with our sub and crack on with the last 15 minutes of this game, because of course we have the season review to do after this. So we don't want to be going on for too long. We don't want like a 3-hour episode, although I don't mind recording that. I'm pretty sure you don't want to sit through 3 hours of me rambling. Anyways, the ball through to Sadat, who just taps it past Zubzuk. Come on, lads. Lads. This is not good. This is not good at all. I'm going to demand more. Because you're falling apart. And it's not good to see. Mehmet Özkan's a little tired. That could be... I'm going to use that as our excuse. Both our central midfielders got a little sleepy. End of the game. They broke through. And Schmelzer got 6.5. So, yeah. I think we'll blame it on that. And the fact that Ahmet also came on and only got 6.4. That's rather disappointing as well. But... we can't complain too much. A 2-2 draw to finish the season against Beşiktaş. We did only have 7 shots to their 9, 4 on target to their 6, 1.82 XG though to their 1.13, 2 corners to their 7, 15 fouls to 11, 0 yellow cards to 3, 85% passing to 87. They actually beat us on passing completion. That is a surprise. I think that might be the first time in one of these episodes, at least in this season. 52% possession to 48. Now, we of course opened the scoring on the second. Milinkovic got his brace on the 50th, but by the 51st, Bilal got one, and Sadat pulled a second one back in the 80th. Now, as you can see, Zubzuk got a solid 7 rating. He wasn't our best performer though. That was of course Milinkovic with his 7.7. Our backline did struggle though. Omar only got a 6.6. Ahmet got a 6.4. The replacement of Gordinho, of course, who only got a 6.4 himself. Oblor did okay with a 6.7, and Yildirim was doing okay on a 6.7, but Schmelzer came on, got a 6.5 in the end. Our central midfield, well, Mehmet had a bad game, he got a 6.6. Emrehan got a 6.8. Substituted Şrok was having a bad game with a 6.6 in there also. Sinan came on, did a decent job, got a 6.7 in central attacking mid. On the right hand side, Gerkan got a 7.1, nice to see. Anal and Mad both struggled up front though, Anal getting a 6.4 and Mad with a 6.6 respectively. But enough rambling from me, let's get out of here. Let's tell the lads, you know what, you were unlucky, I'll be nice on you lads today. We're going to talk to the media. We of course got Dick Skung. Having held what seems to be a comfortable lead, you must be disappointing having come away with only a draw from that match. If you offered me a draw before the match, I would have taken it. So I can't be too upset with the result. That's football for you. It hurts to be on the wrong end of a result. But games like that are what this... well, yeah. It was a good game. Your team failed to see out the game from a winning position. And you worried how many... No, I'm really not. Considering where we are in the league table compared to where we probably should be, no, I'm not worried about drawing that game. I can take some positives from this game despite the disappointing result. Exactly. And that is where we end the season off, even with this injury. Luckily, it's only 5 to 6 days with a twisted knee. As you saw the one to Lassen, he's recovering, so he should be back before the start of the season. So our whole back line won't be suspended because half of them will be off their suspensions. So that's nice to see. And yeah, everything's good for the start of next season. Our injury should be recovering up well. He's got a transfer to us, of course, permanently coming in soon. So we're going to have depth in central defence. We're going to have Obilor, we're going to have Gordinho, we're going to have Kubilay, and maybe we'll even go and get a fourth one if I'm feeling up to it. As you can see, this is our this is not our usual starting lineup. Our starting 11, as you can see, Gordinho is there instead of Obilor. That's because, of course, he's higher rated. I'm not quite sure which one will be starting next year, but rating-based, Gordinho, form-based, Obilor. So it's very much toss-up. Obilor is the older of the two, though, at 32, so he might drop off a little bit. So maybe we'll say, I think we'll start off with Obilor, and when he sort of trickles off a little bit during the season, Gordinho will probably slot into his spot, and they'll swap out like that. So as you can see, this is what the ratings are like for our team. We have Mailman and Adigan, who are the weaker two. It's going to be a struggle to replace Emrehan. Yes, he's 3-star and he has room to grow to 3.5-star. but because he's Turkish and we need homegrown, etc., Emre Can is probably going to keep that spot unless I can somehow find some Turkish superstar to go in there. We then have the mailman, like he's Iraqi, so we should be able to get a solid left back. In fact, we already do have a solid left back coming in if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's going to be sorted. We're going to have a very solid defence. We're going to have a good midfield, although like I said, I would like to improve Emre Can. We then have Shirok, he's on a 3.5 star, 3.5 star here. 4-star for Emre Can. Once these are all on 3.5 star, we can then try and move up a little bit more as well. Milinkovic, he did a good job. Now, I think these two are our go-to spots. I think if we improve both of these, we're going to have a fantastic team going forward. If I can pick up a goalkeeper who is more than 3.5 star, I'm of course going to take advantage of that and get us an even better goalkeeper. But the players we've got in the back line and coming into the back line and our goalkeeper, they're all amazing. Our defence is rock solid, he says, before we get injuries and suspensions and we have a calamitous season next year. But our team's looking good going into next year. Like I said, these are probably our go-to spots. Improve our left wing and our striker. Yes, we do have some players growing like Aaron. He's probably going to be one for the future, but we don't want to push him straight into the squad. It'd be nice to have a bunch of really good Turkish youngsters on our bench, fill up this sort of half and half with internationals and Turkish players, and then that way it doesn't matter who I bring on, where I bring them on. Like our problem this year, we've had to swap out both our wingers together. So if Milinkovic is having a good game, I then couldn't bring on Kun here on the right hand side because of the clash in terms of how many Turkish players we need in the lineup. But I'm rambling. We've had a good season. It's third for us, just behind Galatasaray. We managed to finish above Trabzonspor. Lost 6 games this year. They were, of course, to Fenerbahce, which is not surprising, twice. We lost to Galatasaray, lost to Antalyaspor, Alanyaspor. Alanyaspor is the disappointing one, considering they're 19th and got relegated, and Beşiktaş, who are 10th. So that one's a little bit disappointing as well. But all round a pretty solid season. 9 draws, of course. And, well, oh, did we beat Galatasaray? We beat Galatasaray 1-0 and Trabzonspor. That is nice to see. But that is our season roundup. I'm going to get us to the season review. I'll see you fine folks in just a second. Okay, everyone, it is time for the end of season review 2022 to 2023. So first of all, we have the new arrivals. And the new arrivals, of course, were Zubzuk, our starting goalkeeper. He got 38 appearances this year, 7.9 rating. I don't think we can really complain with that free transfer. We then have Lassen. Now, as you can see, he was transferred for 1.5 million. That was a big investment on our part. 34 appearances, 1 as a substitute, and 2 assists. Got 7.08 average rating. And again, he has been absolutely rock solid. I would say that's good investment at 1.5 million. Not sure what it's quite worth now. What is he valued at? 3.5. So 1.5, I think that is a good business decision. We then have Shirok, another starter. Got 37 appearances out of him. 1 goal, 2 assists, and a 7.04. Again, good business. We then have the mailman. He came from Al Zahra. Probably butchered it, but something like that. 27 appearances, 1 as a substitute, 1 goal and 5 assists for a left back. That is very good to see. 7 average rating and 0.1. Again, good business decision, bringing in all 4 of those starters. We then have a potential starter in Godinho. Now, we did originally loan him to see how we got on. I had a little look between episodes, of course, and well, he's been decent. He's come in from Sundowns. He's not been exceptional like you've seen. He hasn't managed to work his way straight into the lineup, but with a 6.93, we can't say he's played badly, and he's got 8 appearances and 4 as a substitute. It's just Obilor has been absolutely fantastic, so Godinho has not been able to take his spot. We then have the Madman. Now the Madman, he's had 32 appearances, 6 as a substitute, 12 goals and 2 assists, 6.88. Now, for a free transfer, 30 years of age, he's not been bad, he just hasn't been exceptional. He's been one of those players where he's done a role, but he could have done much better. So, again, Mad, we can't be too disappointed, but we do want to look to upgrade him going into next year. Now, Milinkovic, he came in, of course, from Hull. Fetched 4 appearances, 6 as a substitute, 9 goals and 7 assists. That is some good football with a 6.86 average rating. The unfortunate thing about Milinkovic is he's a foreign player, but he's not a consistent foreign player. And if we're going to have foreign players in our starting 11, they need to be consistently good. So, like your Shiroks, like your Lassens, like your Zubzuks, they've all been consistently good and they've never really had a bad game. Milinkovic, however, he has a 6.61 game. Next game, he's 7.2. Like, he just doesn't have the consistency. So, I'm afraid, Milinkovic, we love you, but you're probably the next one on the chopping block behind Mad. We then have Kun. Now, Kun, very similar situation to Milinkovic. He has been a much more disappointing version of Milinkovic, though. He cost us 250 grand, and well, that was 250 grand down the drain as far as I'm concerned. Yes, at 23 years of age, he's got time to grow, and he is valued at 1.8, so technically we could probably sell him on for more, but he hasn't really done it for us. He's got a 6.68 average. Yes, 7 appearances starting, 14 as a substitute, 3 goals. He picked it up towards the end and managed to bang himself in an extra goal, but it's just been rather underwhelming, quite frankly. We then have Marcel Schmelzer from Bochum, the 35-year-old veteran who, of course, is looking to retire. He just came in and did a job. I can't really complain about him. I didn't use him a lot. He just sort of filled a slot. We needed an extra player on that side as cover. He covered both left and right. He was just a nice filler player. 2 appearances, 9 as a substitute, 6.68. Again, not outstanding, but he was just useful to have. We then have Anal. He's 23 years of age, of course, from Trabzonspor. 1.6 million. I think we probably overpaid a little bit. Then again, taking one of Trabzonspor's youngsters has probably held them back a little bit, so it probably did help us clinch that 3rd place, then possibly slip into a 4th. So in that regard, it was quite useful, and he's going to be good going forward. Just paying 1.6 million though for a backup player, it does feel a little painful. But he's Turkish, he's going to develop, he is going to be a good player in this league eventually, so we can stick him on our bench, bring him on in place of whoever we put up front in Mad's replacement, and he'll do a job until he's ready to start. 8 starting appearances though, 20 off the bench, 2 goals and a 6.63, which, like I said, very underwhelming for his ability, but I have faith that he can come and develop good. He's only valued at 800 odd grand, so yeah, that 1.6 is not looking too financially smart, but I think it's one of those where you just bite the bullet for a couple of seasons and he should come good in the future. So, how did it unfold? The board expected us to avoid relegation in the league, and well, we finished 3rd. I think we avoided relegation quite comfortably in the end. 78 points and 33 was the relegation zone. So yeah, I think we comfortably avoided relegation, and we actually quite comfortably got into the top half, which was my own personal goal, of course, because as you can see, 51 to our 78. Now, average home attendance, it was just over half, 22,278. We then have our competition top goal scorer, weirdly, Mad. Yes, lone striker, it helped. Even if he's not the best player on the pitch, he was probably one of our worst players, but still managed to be our top goal scorer. As a result, the board confident is an A+. I'm not going to read through all that, but feel free to pause if you want to read what that specifically says. Here, of course, is a list of the competition results, but as you all know, if you've watched the episodes, you know what the scores were, even the games between episodes, because I, of course, share them with you. We don't do any of this sneaky playing stuff off episode and then going, oh look, we won 4-0 in all of our games between games. No, we don't do that around here. We show you the games and then you can see what the match stats were and how things unfolded. Now, in the Turkish Cup, that was a bit more disappointing. We was expected as a minimum to reach the 6th round. We only reached the 5th, although, to be fair to us, we did go out on penalties, I believe. 22,278 average home attendance. Wait. Yeah, that's exactly the same statistic. Competition top goal scorer, Mad had to share that with Kun of all people. 2 of our worst performers were our top goal scorers in this one with 1 goal apiece. And yeah, they came in the same game. They came in the first game. Okay. That was an interesting way to round out our cup competition, but we should hopefully do a little better next year. Although we do have European competition to focus on, so maybe the domestic cup will go even further onto the back burner. Now, our biggest win was a 4-0 against Goztepe, where they had a player sent off in the 74th minute, and we didn't even actually make use of that. We was already 4-0 up in that game. Match to remember, 2-0 against Trabzonspor. Arguably, I'd say this last game was the one to remember. It was 2-2, very interesting game, but I'll take a 2-0 against Trabzonspor away from home as a game to remember. And then the goal of the season goes to Gerkan. Great strike from the forward from 23 metres. I would not describe him as a forward. He's a winger. He's a very talented winger who can play up front. But he, of course, got a lovely goal from 20 odd metres out. Now, club reputation, it's still national. We're still 3-star. Sponsorships, we have no sponsors and no noticeable new deals, weirdly. Oh, yeah, because that's from last year to this year. So we was a settled club. What you'll see probably on next year's season review is these two big money offers. You're in Europe. We want to sponsor you. We want to deal with you. Fingers crossed. But annual revenue sponsorship did creep up a little bit. It went from 2.36 million to 2.85. Now, our broadcast revenue did drop a little bit from 8.84 to 8.52, but that should grow in the next calendar year, of course, due to our European football. As I said, will all of these, I reckon all these different categories next year are all going to be bright green. Very bright indeed. We then have corporate and hospitality. That's only down by $1,000 or so. 85,100 last time to 84,084 this time. We then have competition prize money. That has shot up, of course, because we're in a much better position. 4.43 million last year to 9.22. Match day commercial and retail has dropped a little bit. Few less shirt sales this year. 186 grand down to 175. And our top shirts sold, well, we had 772 shirts sold, and the top names were Zubzuk, who's going to be sticking around. I don't know who was buying Mad shirts. I guess it was people like me who thought Mad would be this great Danish star who comes in and scores 20-30 goals for us. But yeah, he disappointed us all, didn't he? Kun, again, very similar situation, coming from Germany. We thought he might be a star, slotting into our starting lineup and just banging crosses in and goals from that right-hand side, but no. Emrehan, of course, though, he's a legend around here. Emrehan is definitely a shirt to be buying if you want to get one of your best poor shirts. And Mehmet with his 21 in that central attacking midfield role now. He used to be a rock as a ball-winning midfielder, but he can do everything in central midfield. He is an excellent addition to this side. So 3 of those 5 are going to be sticking around. The other 2, well, we're going to have some new shirt sales slotting into there, I guess. So let's try and get a big name signing. I mean, we do technically have a big name signing coming into defense, for those who remember, but I mean like a big striker. One who can replace Mad, and maybe a winger who can replace Kun, who's actually technically going to be replacing Milinkovic. But how you lined up? Well, this is our lineup, as you can see. Goalkeeper and back line were not the problem. Same with Shirok, all of them over 7. Emrehan even got a 6.97, so you can't really say how central midfield was the issue. Now, looking up at the top, Ozcan got 6.97. Milinkovic was okay on the left-hand side with 6.86. Gerkan with 6.9, a little bit better than Milinkovic, and because he's Turkish, it's going to get him into the starting lineup over Milinkovic being dropped as well. And then Mad with a disappointing 6.88, although, as we've seen, it's not too bad. Like, he's not a bad player, he's just not up to what standard we now expect. So, the accolades, manager awards. So, I got the Turkish Super League Manager of the season, which, considering was expected to get relegated, took us to Europe. That is not a surprise. We have our club awards though. Fan Player of the Season. Your Player of the Season goes to Obilor, the man which, like I said, Gordinho did great. Came in, we loaned him, did solid. Unfortunately though, can't get past Obilor, so it doesn't get him into the team. Then, Young Player of the Season goes to Lassen. He was an excellent addition to this lineup. Only 21 years of age, remember, so he is going to be on that right-hand side for a long time. Signing of the season, Zubzok got 78 years of age behind him, and I would agree that's a pretty decent addition. Goal of the season goes to Gerkan Demir, the 18-year-old playing on the right-hand side. Top goal scorer, of course, went to Mad, but he's only got 11 goals. We'll probably have a player who scores that before January, hopefully when we get a new addition up front. And then most assists, Edigan, 25 years of age, 9 assists from that central midfield. Most player of the match awards goes to Oblor, he got 4, and Kuble got the highest average rating of 7.2. That just shows how great we are in defence. Competition awards, Turkish Super League goalkeeper of the season, Zubzok. Let's go, Zubzok. Record breakers, most clean sheets by a player in a season. Zubzok got 20 clean sheets. Fastest goal goes to Obilor with 43 seconds. If I remember, that was a header from a corner, I want to say. I think we burst up, got an early shot off, keeper saved it, and then just whipped it into Obilor, who just ball-headed it past the goalkeeper. So yeah, that is our end of season review. I can't quite remember where I bring it back for the next episode, but we are of course going to have some European football going into the next one. So I'll catch you at the start of the season. I might catch you through some of these messages if there's out interesting to share before we get to that first game of the season in the next one. But I thank you all for joining us. I hope you all have a lovely night, and goodbye.